let's talk about windows and details. I took a minute to do a little sketch, a little half sketch. Obviously, I didn't do the whole house of this house so that I could use some of those windows as an example for you guys. And we're going to focus on these upper windows first. See if I can get this without wiggling the camera too much. If you look at these upper windows, I have changed them from the photo. In the photo, you see this window is still good. It has the crossbar and the up and down bar. And over here, it looks like they've boarded up the window. It's probably broken or something, and they had to put a piece of plywood over it. But the bottom part of the window, you can still sort of see it. I want my window to not look boarded up here. I'm going to show you how to do boarded up windows in a minute, but for this one, I'm going to make it look like this window's open and that there's some curtains kind of fluttering out of it. In this window, you can kind of see some light lines. Those lines are probably from the inside of the curtains that are already hanging in there. I'm going to show you how to draw those kinds of curtains and how to make your window look open. So first of all, what I did is I drew the bottom part of the window up a little higher. So I took this part of the window here and I raised it up. And what happens is you still see this bar, but the bottom bar and the top bar kind of move, so there's more pieces in here. If you don't get it exactly right, it's not going to be the end of the world. But the thing to notice is that these glass panes are going to make this part of the window look a little lighter, actually. It's going to look kind of like foggy because you are seeing through two pieces of glass. Down here, you're seeing straight into the room, and if there's no light on in that room, this is going to be pitch black. And I've already used my Sketch and Wash pencil in here to shade that in so that when I add water to it, it'll paint. And then you can also see that I'm added some curtains kind of fluttering out because the window is open, the wind is blowing, the curtains are kind of flying out there. You could put a ghostly figure or something in there if you want to. On this side, I drew the curtains open. So right here, this line from here down to here, down to there, this is the curtain that's in that window. And then here is the window. Now, if you want a light to be on or if you want to put a ghostly figure there, you can do that. But I'm just going to make these windows, this one closed with a curtain, this one open with the curtain kind of blowing out. Now, when I take my paintbrush, and you guys can check out some of these nicer paintbrushes from me if you want to. I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm going to get it wet, but then I'm going to dry it off slightly on my fingers so that it's not too dripping wet, because you want it to be just barely damp. And watch what happens when I touch it to the places where I've already added the Sketch and Wash. You can see how the Sketch and Wash basically turns to ink immediately. So now I got to decide, remember I told you I want this upper window to look like it was a little foggier, a little lighter, so I'm not going to go over it too much. But I am going to go down here where I want this to be dark. I've already put Sketch and Wash in there too. But look at how careful I'm being to stay inside the lines of my window. Don't take your paintbrush and just smear water over the whole thing, okay? Because it's going to look bad. You want to be very detailed and careful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of what I already painted here and drag it into the window slightly so that the window will look just a little more gray, okay? Now I get the feeling that it's a dark room, the curtain's kind of fluttering out. Now I can add a little detail to that curtain too. I don't know if I did. I'm just going to do this real quick so I can have a little Sketch and Wash there, and then I'm going to shade this roof. The roof on this part of the house, it's a different kind of a roof where the windows are actually in the roof, so this is all shingles here. It's an old-fashioned style that we don't really do anymore. But you can see how dark it is here and really dark up there. So I've already put a lot of Sketch and Wash on here, so this should work pretty well, yes. And I'm being very careful. You guys, the thing that I don't want you to do when you start adding water to your picture is I don't want you to just spread water everywhere. I also don't want you to work on an area that's next to another area that's wet. So once you start painting, you're not going to paint the whole thing at once, okay? You're just going to paint area by area. Let that dry before you paint any area that's next to it. Because if you paint one area very carefully and then you paint another area and the wet from the next area touches the first area, what's going to happen is it's going to leak in, and it's going to look like it's all blurry, and we don't want that. Now over here, actually, this is a little dangerous too. Try not to use your sketch and wash when your paper is wet too, because your lines will become permanent then. Yeah, see what that just did? Kind of soaked right into that wet paper that I already had, but this one's gonna be better. Yep. And then here, I'm gonna go around the curtain so that the curtain stays looking light and the window inside looks dark. And it's very mysterious, right? Like, it's not perfect, but it looks very mysterious. Like, you're not really sure what's going on in there. And that's the idea. Now, if you want this curtain to stay looking good, you've got to leave the outside edge of it white, okay? It's got to stay white so that it looks like a curtain. Probably later when this is dry, because I already got this wet right here, I really should put a little tiny shadow right there on that side of the curtain. But I can't do it right now because it's wet. But I can do this over here. So let me just go for that, and I could probably do this too, because there's that white post that's in the way, so I can just go ahead and darken all this over here, okay? And you can see how much the Sketch and Wash turns to black. It really looks very inky when it gets wet. So you gotta be very careful with it. Don't use too much of it. Like, look, that looked like gray a second ago before I got it wet. I think I'm just gonna make all this blend across. Okay, so those are my windows there. Let's zoom out again so you can kind of see it better. So this needs to be a little darker, I think. Not as dark as that because it's farther away. This is kind of popping out towards us, so we gotta keep it a little lighter. But I think right there it needs to be a little darker, but I can't do it right now because it's wet. That's the key. Now here, I wanna make this look like it's broken glass. In this original picture, this window is broken, and that's what it looks like. You can see how the glass is kind of foggy, and then there's that black piece that's missing. And this window basically has like a white shade or something in it. You know, we don't know, but I kind of want to make that one look like it's broken too. So I need to take my Sketch and Wash and darken here. Actually, should I put I wonder if I should put a figure or something in here. Maybe I'll put a ghost. I'm gonna do a white ghost, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So I'm gonna draw the edge of my ghost here, standing in the room. He's gonna have dark eyes, and I'm doing this with my regular pencil, not the Sketch and Wash right now. He's gonna have dark eyes. Let's zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. And he's right there. Right, so this is the ghost, and he's gonna be a white ghost with dark eyes. Now you could do the opposite. You could do like a black figure with white glowing eyes. That's also scary. I'll do one of those in the other windows so you can see it. But here he is, and this part of the glass is still there, so that's gonna be foggy, and this part of the glass is broken, so that's gonna be really, really dark. But I wanna make sure that the white ghost stays white, right? So you gotta be careful. So up here, I'm gonna take my Sketch and Wash and just barely shade this in with Sketch and Wash here, where the glass is, right? And then here where the window is broken, we're gonna go darker, but the white ghost is right there. So I gotta be careful to leave him, and also this white part of the window is there. Just gotta go around that. Make that dark. Make this dark. Guys, just so you know, I'm not the best at broken glass usually. We'll see how this goes. Now, if I add some water to that, this should be kind of lighter and foggier. The only way the white ghost is gonna show up is if everything around it is dark, by the way. So if you want white features of any kind, you gotta surround it with darkness, because the darkness around it is what makes it show up. There's the broken part that you can see into the room with. And then I'm gonna go right up to the edge right there. hopefully he looks like a ghost in a window that's broken. And then let's do some details around the window. Oops, didn't mean to do that. The nice thing about haunted houses is that if you make any real mistakes, this makes it look more haunted, right? But I want you to show me your skill at details. You guys, on the last assignment, details was one of the requirements, but I was pretty lenient on your grades regarding that. For this, I'm going to be very strict on details. I want you to be as realistic as you can be in the details that you make. So that's that window. And if I zoom out, I don't think you guys want to watch me make any more ghosts. So I think I'm going to end this video. The thing that I want you to get from this mostly is how careful you have to be when you start painting. When you're painting this, it's like you're making a painting, okay? You're not just spreading your water everywhere just to, you know, soften your edges. You actually want to make it look realistic. And in order to do that, you have to use a pretty fine brush. I have several that you can check out, and you have to be very careful with the way you do it.